Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. It's going to be a great show today. And for those of you engaging, you might as well get ready because, as always, I'm going to say something that maybe most of y'all can't understand. Most people probably can't even follow what I'm about to say. Today's show is about Kandice Webber. Kandice Webber, the moments she had when she questioned authority, when she went in and she made a simple request to be heard, to be heard. And most people never understood that it was a request that came from her saying, you know what? No, you ain't gonna just go past me. You're gonna hear what I have to say, and you're gonna understand that we are just as important. You're trying to get our vote. You're not trying to come in here and impress those people that were sitting in the front row, those people that occupied seats where other voters, because they have already given their vote to Candace, to Talarico. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm kind of frustrated. I didn't even do. Normally, I do my good morning greetings in the morning. I haven't even talked to none of my people to assure me that they are right on this Monday morning. I saw a Facebook page post today that said one of the guys that I know lost their mothers. But you know what? I'm more concerned about being focused on where I'm at today because I think that what happens in these times is that people take what they want to hear and they post it. And when they post it, they never think about what they're doing because Candace had a post this morning before I even got on here. And I looked at it. And the guy said, he was talking about James Talarico and how people using him just to get money out of him and this, that, and the other. Didn't he know that he wants our vote? Are you just gonna let him walk over you and get your vote? See, one of the things, the first thing that we gotta realize, I asked myself, one of the things I started asking myself is this: why is the message not clear? Why is the messaging that we're sending out not clear? And here's the answer. I want to say it in a way where you can understand. We got too many people that don't care. Too many people that don't want to get involved. We got too many youngsters out there. Youngsters, young people. I'm a little bit older. We got too many young people that don't want to engage in it because too many old people like myself and the other people are arguing with each other. See, Candace, the one thing that I can say about Facebook, you post out. You don't have to agree with her. You don't have to agree with nothing that she does. But here's the reason why I have a problem with what you guys do. I'm going to say this because it ain't no delicate way to say this. It's black men. It's black men. We forget how to stand up for our women. We think because they go out first and they say something and they initiate something. If you listen to the audio of some of those things in the background, it was one black man in particular that I heard that say, sit your ass down. What if that was his sister or his mother up there that was frustrated with what was going on? You don't say that to a grown person. Oh no, y'all, I got a show lined up. I'm looking at it right now. I want to go somewhere with it. But you know what? I think I'm gonna change it up because I need to say some things before I even do a show like this. See, y'all take for granted, and I'm gonna say y'all, some, not all, because I need to clarify. I have to say that because my co-host on my show tomorrow are gonna remind me, some, not all, take the approach that, you know, She shouldn't have did that. That was wrong format. That was all kind, it was all kind of wrong. But did you notice that one thing about it? She got his attention. See, a lot of people take that coward way of approach out here on Facebook, and they don't get nobody's attention. But when you standing there and you have an opportunity and you have posted what you was going to ask the question a week before, you want to get answered. But you get addressed as an angry black woman because you spoke different, because you spoke up. See, they don't have no problem speaking up. They don't have no problem speaking up. Other people don't have a problem speaking up because they put their issues in your face all the time. I want to make sure I stay on point this time because, first thing I want to say is this. You dress him up like a Texas Ranger. Sport coat, boots, starched white shirt, and you run them down that aisle in the midst of a bunch of black people being in the audience. Don't nobody else say nothing about it. They cool with that. Here comes the great white hope. And I had a picture out there. I wish I could show it because it tells the story of the mentality of black people when they see oh, y'all gonna say he's Hispanic. But when they see somebody he could almost pass for white, you want to say, yeah, I agree with that. Oh, look at him. He ran down that aisle. He had our attention. Y'all sit there in your chair, skinning and grinning. Skinning and grinning because you got that from the front row. They were sitting on the front row where they should have had voters or people that wanted to ask questions on the front row. See, that's another part because y'all want to take up the front row when you're out there. But you don't realize that the front row should be reserved for people that haven't made up their mind whether or not they want to vote. See, y'all could stand in the back, get seats in the back, but you want to make it about you, kingmakers. You want to be sitting in the front row when they take those pictures on all these news medias and paper media or post it back to Facebook. Y'all did a good job of that. But see, those people that could have filled those seats were voters that hadn't made up their mind. See, you took the moment and you turned it around about you. And that's the thing about politics that I don't like. See, you want to skin and grin on the front row, but then you don't realize that you need voters. You don't need your vote. You already said, I'm here. You can go on your social media any time that you want to and post it. I'm here. But then you sit up and oh no, I'm going somewhere with this. See, one of the things that I don't like about people that call themselves Democrats, they're cowards. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I say they're cowards, because I'm going to have to go back a minute and help you understand. See, when Judge Al Green stood up in Congress and showed his cane and said what he did, none of y'all stood up and supported that. But most of y'all stood up and censored him. I'm going to step on some toes right now. Because it's important for us to understand and learn from this lesson and understand that we represent ourselves. See, when they walked Judge Al Green out of Congress, since you need to understand where this perspective is coming from. When they walked Judge Al Green out of Congress, every Democrat in that building should have got up and walked out with him if you was in support of what he did. But you know what you did? You sit there. You sit there. Now I want to call names, but name calling ain't doing no good. That happened a long time ago. But let me tell you what happened recently. and they sit there. See, that skinning and grinning went off their mouth because they thought they had brought him into a safe environment where he could just say what he wanted to say. They had artillery set up. They had already got their names out there. They had took up all the time for talking, and everybody wanted to get in on the conversation to introduce him. But when you're in a public environment and you soliciting votes from the people that's sitting in the room, it's a couple of things that you don't have to do if the candidate is strong enough on its own. And see, I'm gonna give you an example. Have you ever seen President Obama when he walks in the room? His greeting doesn't start by when he gets up on that stage. He starts greeting people at the door as he's walking in. People that he don't even know. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, how you doing? And he greets them all the way up to the seat. It doesn't matter who you are. He's not afraid to greet you and say hello. Hey, I see you. See, when you're a candidate, you have to do that too. But see, your people so caught up in protecting your image that they forget that. They forget that one person that they could have impressed coming in the door for a vote in a hostile environment was the one that you spoke to. See, you came into that environment, say that you was willing to ask questions, answer questions. But what happened is your kingmakers and the people that were skinning and grinning on the front row, all the way at that whole row that wanted their pictures taken, messed up your whole format. Because you was caught up in them and not the people that was around them that was voting. So I'm just a little old person in Texas. I put up this little bit of media equipment. I might not get recognized out there. I get recognized more in my shorts than I do in my longs. But see, the longs is where the information comes out. So maybe your people can help themselves. So if you're going to take them into a black environment, get the black people off the front row that you already got their vote. Or it becomes protection. You know, the reason why I admire Kandice Webber is because she sticks to her point. I didn't just start following Kandice because she came and stood up. Kandice was standing up on every page that she got. So y'all, it was a moment, but y'all missed the point that she was trying to make. She was trying to make a point to let you know that you need to answer some questions. You're not going to just get my vote without answering some questions. But y'all, see, every time a black woman stands up and says something that you don't like, you want to crucify her. But you allow a person that doesn't have your skin color to walk in a meeting that you had and tell you who you can't talk about. Who you can't talk about. You can't say anything about this person. Oh, they hired than everybody that's in the room. But see, this same person, and I put out a post. I want to see how many people paid attention to it. This same person called another candidate a mediocre candidate, or however he said it, a mediocre candidate, a mediocre man, or whatever, in his comparison to himself running for office. But see, you fall into that game, and then when you fall in there, and then when it's over with and you don't get what you want, see, because a person can say one thing to get into office. And that's the problem with politics and today, is that they're saying one thing, but once they get into office, it's a whole different story. They don't have your interests at heart, what they're trying to do is get a second term into Congress or Senate, wherever they're at, because they know if they don't fall in line, they're out. See, we got to put this where everybody can get this, because sometimes you got to reach down and help everybody accept it and help everybody understand, because sometimes you have to reach down and make people come up and understand. You have to understand that I wasn't going here, but I'm going here today. Candice, you got me fired up today, so I just got to tell the truth. Her name is Kandice Webber. Go out and follow her page. She's making posts all the time. You may not like the way she makes her point, but it's still true. It doesn't make it any less true. And if you go into her page, you better be prepared for what she brings back to you. If you go into the comments and you make comments, you better be prepared for what she brings back to you. See, I knew Kandice before she made that announcement. She was doing the same thing that she's doing right now. The only people that's changing is the people that were offended by what she did and how she did it. See, I don't have to do this video by Kandice, but because I know what's going on, because I can see what's going on, because I paid attention to what happened, I can do this video. And y'all don't like my shorts because I tell the truth. And you want to know why black people are mad? I'm going to tell you the reason why black people are mad. Because James Talarico should have never existed in the first place. Oh, I know. I'm going to be questioned on that. They say, well, what do you mean he should have never been there? He should have never been there. See, let me, I don't even know if I want to go there, but no, I'm going there. See, it was a person called Beto O'Rourke and a couple of other Hispanics. I think even the lady that's running for government is not getting as much controversy as he is, James Talarico. And I'm going to tell you the reason why she's probably not doing that. Because they had a plan put in place in Texas until James Talarico made a visit to New York. They had planned it all out. The strongest people in the Democratic Party had planned it all out. And you say, what, Ron? Wait. How did you know that? Because one of his people came out and told him, oh, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I want to do this so you can see it. I like getting people's words. I don't want to misrepresent anybody. See, because that's the problem. See, we hide behind people. We hide behind things and we throw stones at people, but what we don't do is show proof. Like today, when I went on Kandice's page, it's a black guy out there talking about people always out trying to solicit money, take advantage, and they got a hustle going on. The reason why they say what they do against a candidate. No. That's not the case. That's not the case. Here's the thing. If you go out in public media, and because your people have done the research, you go out and you disarm a person before they get a chance to ask you a question. So you come out in the first minute of your conversation, 2 minutes of your conversation, 3 minutes of your conversation, not asking for a vote. The purpose in which you came out and said what you did, how you said it, was to disarm the host. Oh, I got 25 million that I'm putting into black media. I got $25 million I'm putting into black media. But here's what you need to ask that person when they make those statements on places like this. You need to ask that person where you wrote if you got 25 million set aside for black media, what are you leaving a check with the host where you at? Oh no, we're gonna go in. See, because the details tells a lot about the person. You can say something because you was able to get on the air because you knew that you had a broader audience. You knew that Roland Martin happens to be one of the number one black media stations that's out there. He's not afraid to tell you that because he knows who he is. He knows where he came from. He knows how much he put into what he's doing to get to where he's at. But you go on there, you want to disarm him. When he gave you the mic or turned it over to you, the first thing come out of your mouth is, I'm gonna donate $25 million to, but that's fine. You won. You made your point on national media, but you didn't say how much of a check you left with him for being on his show using his equipment and all the rest of it, the popularity that go along with it. You didn't say, well, I left him a check because I need him to continue pumping in, or I left him advertisement that I want him to pay, and I paid for him. So when he goes on the air, I want him to run this because I need the black vote. But see, y'all do, this is something that y'all do good because you have a running track record of talking, but not investing. Talking, but not investing. Oh, you think I'm just here talking? On satellite radio, Karen Hunter is saying the same thing. Y'all do good at talking, wanting to come on and get their audience, but you don't do anything to help them stay on the air. So you can leave a check wherever you were talking. And excuse my filing system. My filing system is made for Ron. I intentionally did not want to come on the air and start doing this, but sometimes things change. And see, this whole show is supposed to be about Kandice Webber, the moment that she had. And I don't want to take anything away from it, so I'm gonna kind of watch my time because I want to give her just due because she did something. She did something that the rest of y'all don't understand. Don't even have a clue of what she did that changed the dynamics of politics as usual. That one moment that y'all take for granted, that you complain about, that you sit back and say, you need to sit down and shut up. She changed the dynamics of what politics are about. You got to hold people accountable when given a chance. You can't do a layup question and see everybody else follows that layup. And that's what the campaign wants you to do, is give them layups. And I'm so all over the place right now. But I want to stay on point. I might have to do 2 shows on this because I don't think people get enough of just somebody talking to them, telling them. You know, I really wish I could go back and I wish I could go back and not know what I know now. And you say, Ron, so why are you saying that? Because the more that you get into politics, the more that you understand about politics, you just wish you could get in that voting ballot, get in there and just hit your ballot and go on. Because when you understand the dynamics of what's happening behind the scene, how many people try to play you in your face and say stuff and deceive you in any kind of way, it hurts. Because now you're not looking at politics the same. You're looking at it a different way. And I'm still looking, because I want to say this in a way where people can. I don't want you to hear me say it, and I might have to do it on another show because my mind is wrapped up and I'm tight on stuff right now, and I'm still looking at my computer and I'm still trying to get this information up so I can share it with you because I get tired. When I say I'm tired, I get tired of people using other people to build their self up. I get tired of that. I get tired of other people using other people like Kandice to say something and then don't back it up. Sometimes we have to take a pause before we post and do a little bit of research on who the person is. Kandice didn't just show up on that day. Kandice did not just show up on that day and say, hey, I'm going to stand up right here. Kandice has been standing up for a long time. Kandice has been standing up for a long time. She's been doing the same thing in social media. But y'all want to crucify her for standing up. And let me just say this. I'm not going to find that video, but I will play it one day. I'm not finding that video right now, but I will guarantee you I will play it. If not today, I'll play it on the show tomorrow, on Tuesday. See, Kandice represents Jasmine. And I'm going to tell you the reason why she represents Jasmine. And I'm going to tell you, if you go out there and look at one of my Facebook posts, I even have Kamala Harris in there. Because Kandice represents all women. What she did represented all women. Because we take and put women in an environment. Then when they run for office, we say that we ain't voting for them. It's something always wrong with why we don't vote for women. But when a woman stands up and makes a statement like Kandice did, you want to take that statement and turn it into something else. Can't do that. Because if it was a guy saying the same thing, if it was a man saying the same thing, you're not holding him up to the same standards that you're holding Kandice. Because if he stood up and he said it and it was true, what's wrong with saying that? What's wrong with it? I just don't get it. And maybe it's just me. Maybe you don't want to hear it from that particular person or a female. Let me get back over here because I'm still looking for that thing in my face. Look like it's all over the place. So you dress him up and he runs down the aisle and he looks like a Texas Ranger. He looks like a Texas Ranger. Not really starch blue jeans, but a starch polo shirt and a blazer. If he put on one of those hats, have you ever seen a Texas Ranger on an investigation on TV? You can tell them Texas Rangers because they got on these big old hats and they got on these blazers, they got on these boots, these expensive boots, and they got on those blue jeans and they say, I'm the man. Well, if you notice in police departments, when they get promoted to certain positions, guess who they try to dress like? Guess who they try to dress like? I want to share another story with you, and then I'm going to kind of jump around. You know, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I get this out because I was uneasy this morning. And I'm going to stick to my notes. I'm not going to even do my podcast right now. I'm going to stick to my notes because notes, and I wrote these down. You know, it was a lot that could be learned from Kandice Webber. They decided to change the narrative that made her look like she was the problem. Made her look like she was the problem. And you other people came out and made her look like she was the problem. Made her look like this was the first time she ever said that. That wasn't the first time. All those people skinning and grinning and on the front row, and they know who she was. They knew who she was before she got there because she's been active within the community. Active within the community. She engaged with those people before. So they knew who she was. And some of them probably said, God, why did he go there? Golly, why? because that was the moment that she spoke up for every black person, that every black woman that has ran for office. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and you say, "Well, why is Kandice different?" Kandice say it's best when she played the opening clip of James Talarico. I'm gonna say it so you can understand why that moment meant something. When she played the opening clip of James Talarico in DeSoto, and he admitted he made mistakes in Houston. Did he make mistakes? No. His only thing was is that he had somebody that was there willing to challenge that moment, willing to ask a question and wouldn't go with a one-step format. And you say, why does that make a difference? Well, here's why it makes a difference. The real question is the you know, her moment mattered because she asked a direct question. And then she pushed for clarity because he didn't answer it. She did not let the room be controlled, let him take control, because this is a format in which people are there to see him. She did not accept that one question with no follow up. She showed what happens when someone refuses to play along with a program. She showed what happens when a politician is not comfortable stepping out of where they're at. See, he was willing to take her off the air, but he didn't want to take her while it was being recorded because she followed up just like anybody else. Have you ever seen a presidential conference? You notice what happens when a person does a follow-up question that maybe the president or anybody does, vice president, congressman, or whatever, don't want to answer? They conclude the press conference. So what James Talarico did, he tried to say, well, I'm going to be willing to take your questions in the back. But she challenged him. She has every right to challenge him. So you want to take me to the back room and nobody hears me what I'm saying. So she challenged him right there. But y'all got a problem with that because y'all don't want to hold him accountable for who he is. And let me tell you the reason why that became relative of everything I just got through saying about Kandice, because I need you to see this next part. What happened when he went to DeSoto after Houston? Very next day. Very next day. After Houston, everything changed. The room changed. The rules changed. The energy changed. DeSoto only allowed for you to have one question. No follow-up. You know what that did? For you people that out there running in Kandice Webber's page and pressing her and talking about what she ain't doing, and she says she's getting death threats and all the rest of that. What that did was mean that they did not want to put the candidate in a precious situation where he had to answer questions. So they changed the rules just that fast to protect him from being in that position again. You didn't have a second layer of questions because the first one wasn't answered the way that you wanted to, because if you went to the second layer, it made him look like he was out of place. So they protected. You can't protect a candidate that wants to vote from black people or any other vote from anybody else. You got to stop protecting the candidate and maybe say, maybe you should say something like, Kandice Webber really put me on the spot. But I'm gonna tell you, I stood there and I took it. So when you get there, people are not afraid to ask questions, but when you change the tone in which they can do it and you don't put it out, but you narrate it, oh yeah, it looks like everything's cleaned up, but it's not. It shows you as a weaker candidate. And let me help you understand something. Because see, when I put out posts, it's messaging in it. I put out a Facebook post not too long ago. It was messaging in it, but some of y'all would have stopped because you got to the point where you was looking at it as a personal attack against James Talarico. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the Kandice Webber moment. It showed you something that's in that candidate that he better get ready for. The Republicans don't play fair, and they too quiet right now. They posting settled stuff. But see, what happens to Democrats is we are not prepared for the settled stuff. We don't take on the settled stuff. We protect our candidates. Then when the mudslinging starts, they're not prepared for it. So if we start putting it out there early, maybe since he won the representative, maybe we need to start slinging more mud at him so he can be prepared for the Republicans, because I guarantee you, the closer it gets to November, they're coming after him. And you ain't going to have a chance to structure a one-question format. But you want our vote, but you want to put us in handcuffs when we ask the question. Oh, no. You don't get a chance to come back. No. The one-question problem. The one-question problem. You want to vote, but can you be good enough at answering 2 questions, maybe 3 questions from the same person? And that's the kind of thing that we should be asking, because we're not one-question people. When you do that, that's called protection. And if you need protecting and you're not even in Congress yet, why should you earn our vote? And this ain't even about, I ain't saying nothing about the other person. I say a little bit about the other person, but this is about your actions, your people, and how you being presented. And that's the reason, again, I'm gonna say, that's the reason why Kandice Webber moment was hidden. You didn't understand it. Your people didn't understand it. Those people sitting in the front row, skinning and grinning, they didn't understand it. But people who vote for you understood it. People who vote you're trying to get and sway to your side understood it. You can't avoid asking questions. This is a time when you should answer questions. Not off camera, but in a way. Because see, you I was looking at something before I went on, and I got caught up in, I'm not going to even look for it because it's going to lose me again. But CBS just ran a poster that probably your people approved of. James Talarico say he spent $25 million. He's going to commit $25 million to get the black vote. See that? What should impress people is this. See, when you went on CBS and you did that, you didn't get that time for free. See, that's what the details. When you go on ABC and everywhere else, you don't get that time for free. But when you go into black media, you think it's supposed to be given to you. Or you say stuff like 25 million and not leave a dime. So see, black people, we got to do a better job of supporting people that's in roles of asking those people questions. They can't ask hard questions because people are cutting off the narrative. And when they do that, you don't want to be confrontational when you come back. If it would have been here, I would say, well, where's my check? But then you become, you see, just like you did, Kandice, you crucify the messenger, but you don't hold the person who said it accountable. You don't hold the person who said that I got $25 million to invest in black media, but I paid to get on every major news station that's out there, I have to pay to play. But you won't pay. I don't know, but I'm gonna just ask you a question, because this is a question you need to ask him when he makes statements like that. How much money did you leave with Roland Martin for letting you come on his airways? You missed that. You know, here's the thing, and I need to dig into this because I need to make some points to help you make sense. A 34 count convicted president sits in the office of president right now. Only reason why he's not in jail is because he won the election. That shows you something important. A candidate's record does not guarantee you a win. Maybe you didn't hear me. That proves voters did not always respond the way people expect them to. See, you thought because he was 34 count convicted criminal, you thought because all the other negative publicity going around him that he wasn't going to win over Kamala Harris. You know what? The record is there. Where is he sitting at right now? And you said, well, why are you bringing this up on here? Because if somebody would have challenged the system, if somebody would have been in a situation where they could challenge his record, if somebody would have just spoke up and said something or did something that was out of the norm. See, I don't care how confused Joe Biden was on that stage, but see, the decorum won't let you say, hey man, you're a 34 count convicted criminal. The only reason why you're not in jail is because you're running for president. That's your only way out. And you say, well, Ron, that's national media. Well, how does that tie back? Because you got a person that's convicted too that Talarico is running against. Ken Paxton. You think that Ken Paxton's record would automatically give Talarico a victory. I'm showing you that it won't. This is a Republican. Look at the map. Any maps, I don't care what they show you, look at the map. Those same little bitty towns that got him voted, where probably 100% of the Hispanic vote voted for him because they used that advertisement to get them there. Well, on the other side, they got 100% too. But they got more numbers than the 100% of Democrats in those small towns that you say it's an automatic win for him. Because Ken Paxton has been convicted too. I'm just saying that a criminal track record doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get the vote. But here's what you should do. Because Ken Paxton may not get the black vote, but you don't know how to go about getting it without stepping on your toes. The people that you got that's trying to show you your kingmakers and whoever think that they run in the town, they only speak for themselves. See, all those people in the front row, they're representatives that have got elected into office. But when they come into that format, they don't speak for the whole room in which Kandice Webber was standing in. They don't speak for that whole room. They just skin and grin in that front row and want to use your candidacy to promote them for their next election because they got behind you. But what if you lose? You think they're going to be sitting in the front row when you give that concession speech? No, they're not. You're going to have to walk on that stage by yourself. So if you need black voters, when somebody like Kandice stands up, Make that a moment to remember. If you don't do anything else, do a Obama. Stand up and say, you know what? Hey, Kandice, I don't know who you are, young. I don't know who you are, ma'am, but come up here with me. We're going to address this in front of everybody that's sitting out here. Because if she stood up and she felt that way, if you brought her up to the stage beside you and you say, look, we're going to iron this out right here. What's your question? What do you want to say? But see, your people that's running your media and everything behind the scenes, that's standing behind the camera, making their little motions and making their little hand motions and all the rest of that. What they should have been telling you, hey, you in the audience are a live audience. We didn't set it up like DeSoto. But see, they protect you, and protecting you makes you look weak. You might be the best person that could handle it, but if they keep protecting you, we don't know. One question format. Does that make you somebody? Oh, before I get too far, I want to go here. See, I got a little bit of time. I was spending on this because you need to understand. We've seen this pattern before. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and many observers, news outlets said that he performed poorly after that debate. He eventually had to step out of the race. The moment changed the direction of the election. It shows what happens when a candidate enters high pressure, and he can't handle himself. See, unless you want a repeat, and see, that's why I keep saying, the reason why I keep saying Kandice Webber moment, put you in a position where you know you need to go back and do some work. Your people are not giving you good advice because that Kandice Webber moment should have been handled a different way. And I think Pastor Reagan said it best. You know, I would say, hey, Kandice, you know what? Come up here. Let's address this. Let's iron this out. Let's talk about this. You ain't gonna put me in a position where we can't talk about it. I might not agree with anything that she said. I might not have made no promises or anything what she said. But what I did do was give her a voice. And I gave her an opportunity to ask questions. So if I want Black people to come with me, to follow me, to go with me, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share this with you. You know, there's a reason why Black voters don't trust you. And I don't think that none of your people ever tried to address this. Now I'm gonna tell you about a historical moment that was done. I've never seen it a day in my life of watching politics. And I want to be careful when I say this, and I want to be careful because I need my audience and your people to understand. It may not be your fault. The reason why Black people see you the way they do may not be your fault at all. Because this moment, I'm still mad about it. Every time I hear it or I see it, I'm mad about it. Yeah, now I'm gonna admit this right here. Jasmine Crockett did lose the election. How she lost the election is suspect, but I'm not gonna go into details right now on the suspect part of it. You can go back and see my other videos on the suspect part of it. But here's what I saw happen for the first time in all my time. I never seen the next day, the next morning, somebody go on the air and brag about their candidate's defeat. Chuck Roach. He went on there and he bragged about the candidate's defeat. He bragged about what he did, how he did it, when he did it. And basically what he said, and this is what I gathered from it, I, not you, I. He basically said black voters didn't have a chance by the way he set up the campaign. What he said is that Hispanic voters have a better voice in Texas than black people do. He said it. Don't take my word for it. Go out there and see what he said, because he had on a James Talarico shirt the next morning when he said it. See, that hurt. That hurt you as far as black voters. Then your people came out and attacked Jasmine for not getting on the campaign trail, running around with him. But see, you forget about the hurt that happened before then. You can play it off. Let me do the politician role so you can understand. So everybody can understand. You know, I have no control over what Chuck Rocha did, but I promise you, I will do a better job. You didn't do a better job of taking his aid in whatever you did, because you could have came back at that time when he said it and say, look, my name is James Talarico. I'm not Chuck Rocha. I'm not responsible for what Chuck Rocha started. See, while we're here, we're going to get something else ironed out. See, you don't go in front of a group of black people that was sitting in their audience and you seen it ha-ha and he, amen, and they're clapping their hands when you made that statement. I'm going to tell you what statement you made. Take Jasmine Crockett's name out of your mouth. Yo, but you did clean it up at the end. But see, you can't tell black people to take Jasmine Crockett out of your mouth when you didn't tell your own people in the audience that look like you the same thing, because they were attacking Jasmine Crockett. They were attacking Kandice Webber, and they still attacking those same people for not doing what you have not stood up and said in front of them. But you get in front of a black audience and you want to tell us what we can and can't say, but you don't get in front of your own audience and say, hey, I need you to do something for me. From this point on, I need you to take Jasmine Crockett's name out of your mouth. I also need you to stop emailing Jasmine Crockett or participating in her social media, trying to force her to do something, because I don't support that in your audience, not in a black audience, because we understand what Jasmine went through to get what she got. See, we understand how you beat her. Fair and square. You played a game, a long-term card that got everybody fired up while she was courting her people, black people, audience, which should have been enough to defeat James Talarico. No, y'all came in with a national media campaign and you beat them because she had a fight in front of her that she knew about, but she had a fight behind her from her own party. Oh, you say why? Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Because she's not going to step and fetch. She's not going to sit on her hands when something goes against the people that she got elected into office to do. She's not going to change. See, I'm going to go here. See, when you take PAC money, and you get all that money from different people and you get all that support from bundlers or whatever, however you try to cover that money up, and you don't have to do it no more because they just changed the rules on it. But whenever you get that money from them, trust me, they're coming back one day to get something from you. They're coming back to get something from you. Either it's to shut you up or to tell you to get in line. And that same money that they used to get you into that office, they will use to destroy you. So when you take money from people, Don't think it don't come with strings attached. And that's something that your people got to get used to. See, when you make a promise like 25 million going into black media, if I didn't look like I did, so wait a minute, how you investing 25 million into that media and you're not investing into us? See, what people should hold you accountable for is this. You didn't need the black vote going in. It was clear because it was stated in a way where we could understand it. Here's something else that happened. Now, and I'm going to say this. It was stated, what Chuck Rocha says, I went in there, I didn't have to go. He didn't say anything about the black vote. I'm going to clarify that. But here's what one of our own said after Chuck Rocha got up and did what he did the next day. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Gary Chambers said he didn't have to go after the black vote. Got that on tape too, but I'm not looking for him. He didn't have to. Gary Chambers looked like me. But what he was trying to do is tell black voters that he didn't need them then. But he was coming back if he won the candidacy to run against James Talarico. And what your people fail to realize is this. You're running back to get somebody that you left behind now. What your people fail to realize, unless you get them in the state of Texas to come on board, and I say your people that look like you, unless you get people that look like me, or unless you get people like Kandice Webber to come on board, unless you get people like that to come on board, you can't win against Paxton. Oh, I stepped on some toes just then. See, because all that skinning and grinning, wherever you go, running up in churches and all the rest of that don't mean anything. Oh, I'm I like putting facts out there. I don't like just talking. If you don't believe me what I'm saying, there's a candidate named Jamie Davis that's running in Louisiana. He don't have none of that money behind him. He's using small donations to run. He's everywhere. Everywhere. Everybody that he talks to can engage with him. He's not doing one questions because you failed to do it in Houston and got to DeSoto the next day and the whole format changed. You don't have to change the format around a person that's a sincere candidate. You let them go out and be who they are. Yeah, I'm talking about Jamie Davis in Louisiana. And you said, well, how you going to compare him to that? Well, the reason why I'm comparing this is because they're both trying to get your vote, but you don't sit back and question. You don't look at the changes, the details. You look at the outcome. And see, as long as you keep looking at the outcome, we're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem with Kandice Webber. You're going to have a problem with anybody that steps out closer to the race that calls you out. And here's why I keep posting this stuff. So your people don't get on me and say, well, Ron, you keep posting this stuff on Facebook. It's controversial. It can't happen. It can't be true. But let me tell you what Ken Paxton and the rest of them are going to do. I want to lean in when I say this. As the election gets closer and the Republicans feel like they need every bit of ammunition that they got, you don't think they're going to bring up that you call Cullen Allred a mediocre candidate? You don't think they're going to bring up how the Democratic Party was attacking one of their own behind the scenes? You don't think they're going to bring up Obama coming down here to have tacos and I didn't see him eat one taco? You don't think they're going to bring up you went to Pearland at a black soul food restaurant? Everybody knows what's in soul food restaurant. You supposed to be a vegan? See, they're going to attack you in those ways, but if you get it out of the way up front, that's what your people should be telling you. You know what? Let that stuff come out. Because then people are prepared for it in the end. It's not shocking to change the vote. You already got people that's not voting because they think their politics are fake. But then you want to crucify, your people want to nullify a person like Kandice Webber, but she's asking a question. Those are the kind of people that you should engage in, jump into. Those are the kind of people that's for real. That's a vote too. That's a vote too. It's not given. Ain't nobody gonna go behind no line just because you're in a certain party and say, hey, just do whatever you want to me. No, you can't do that. If you expect that, if your people expect that, there's something wrong with them. You're not running the right campaign. So Kandice Webber was right to point out. Kandice Webber was your practice for a debate with Ken Paxton unless you clean it up. What you did the next day in DeSoto means that your people don't even feel like you're strong enough to hold a debate. Told you what happened during Biden. You out there and get embarrassed. You may not want to debate Ken Paxton because you're not strong enough, but you need to know that up front, because if you get out there and you embarrass your party again, they may not recover. That same party that you say, you're so proud, I'm a Democrat, I'm running for this party, I'm doing this. Y'all continue to make mistakes. The office that you're running for, senator. And I'm going to call out one of my own again. I'm not afraid to call them out, because if we don't call out our own, we're not doing a service to anybody. Hakeem Jeffries just stated he wasn't voting against the money to go to Israel. He stated that. You know why? Follow his FEC filings. Follow him. Follow where his money comes from. For years, I can't even get to my closing without saying this. I need you to listen to what I'm about to say right now. I have a person that I admire for years. For years. They had a fight, and they was there before anybody else. See, before there was a Black Talk Radio, there was a place on Blog Talk Radio where you could go get the news, and you could hear different opinions from Black people that look like me. But here's where I departed. I followed that news. I even bragged on where that news source was coming from. I bragged on it. I never once followed up anything that they said in the commentary without an explanation of why I said it or proof. And I'm gonna tell you, I know how Kandice feels, because I did all of this, and this one person took it upon himself. The Houston Chronicle don't have the outreach that it did at one time, but it's still present. This one person decided from another whole state that don't know the local ground, everything that's going on. The only thing that they can get is what they read in the media. And I made a statement on the Houston Chronicle, and he came back and what he said didn't make no sense. But you know what happens in our media? If I would have went out and attacked him, I'm not about the algorithm count. I'm not about creating conflict. But if we don't get better as a people in what we say, we're going to be the destruction of ourselves. And I shared that with you so you can understand that Kandice, when she made that statement, it was something that more people should do. More demands should be made of candidates that want your vote. Don't just give it to them. And see, Kandice is taking all kind of heat behind what she did, but you need to stand up and support people that's willing to come up. Don't be that man that's on the videotape that's in the audience that looks like Kandice that say, sit your ass down. Because she was standing for you. When Kamala Harris decides to run for president, you need to understand that she's standing for you. And if you're black, you got to know that she's standing for you. She represents you in that format. That's going to take everybody to probably push her over. And it was people coming across the aisle that was willing to do that. But in such a short period of time, so much hate came from us that she had to overcome what was in front of her and overcome what was behind her. See, that's the reason why when I say, when black women stand up, the first thing she should have on her side is black men saying, I support you. But see, y'all get out here chasing algorithms, calling yourself alpha males, beating your chest, but you forget Jasmine Crockett represented maybe your daughter. Jasmine Crockett represent maybe your baby sister. Jasmine Crockett represents everything that we call ourselves as black people. But we don't get on board. What we do is we allow other people to distract us and get what they want. And then when they get what they want to come back and treat you like a yo-yo. They want to reel you out, let you spin at the bottom. Then they think that they can just flick their finger and your vote comes up automatically. They play you just like a yo-yo and you accept it. You fall in line. See, that's controlled behavior. That's the way that they've done us for years. We accept that. And we shouldn't. So when I talk about Kandice Webber moments in which she had, that was one moment. But it made national news. We need more Kandice Webbers to break the decorum because they're doing the same thing. We need more Al Greens to stand up doing a live conference, a live meeting, and hold up their cane. We need more people like that to stand up for us. But see, we need to follow their actions because they stood up. That's an action. They did something different. We need to make sure that we're behind them. Or else we're a party. I said we. Because in my heart of hearts, I still support the Democratic Party. But I can't follow a party with no message. I can't follow a party that won't stand up for their own. I can't follow a party that's going in a whole different direction than the whole group of them are. They are dismantling themselves right before your eyes. And we too, I don't know what we too. I almost say too crazy to just look at. I wanted to say something stronger, but we don't even see it. We're not looking at it as dismantling, but it's happening. So in the Northeast, and let me just tell you what I'm talking about so I can explain this, and then I'm gonna get out of here. In the Northeast region of the United States, they play by different rules. When they come out to talk, they have to talk different than somebody down in the South. When you're on the West Coast, you have to talk different than somebody on the East Coast. When you get to the Midwest region, the politics are different. But if you're not a party that's willing to recognize the difference across everybody that you're willing to get a vote from, that you want to get a vote from, you're dismantling yourself. So before it gets to 2026, I'm looking at a King Jeffries picture up here. I'm looking at Byron Glass picture up here. I'm looking at Jasmine Crockett's picture up here. And I'm going to ask you a hard question. I want to make sure I get it right. How did James Talarico win? Was he Texas tough? Or was he handpicked? Oh, some of y'all know what that is. Especially the people that look like me. Was he handpicked? If he was handpicked, y'all need to build him up. Y'all need to let him know that he's going to need these people that look like me to come on board. And you see me looking off screen because I want to make sure that I get it right. Because, see, what tells me something is that I can look at you in my camera right here in front of me, and off to my right is Instagram. Off to my left is the service I use to get on the airwaves. So I'm looking left, right, up and down. I got 3 pictures of me right in front of me, so I know where I'm at. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. This episode isn't about who's right and who's wrong. It's about engagement. It's about preparation. It's about what happens when you follow up questions. It's not done to set you up for failure. It's done because people felt like the first question wasn't answered. It didn't answer their question. So they need to have the ability to follow up. But if your format is set up for them not to do that because they're scared that you're going to look weak, you're a weak candidate. You're a weak candidate. And let me say this, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. Kandice Webber moment might have been done more than people might have done more than people give her credit for. But what it shows us as a people what real conversation is about. And that is the question I'll leave you with today. But before I go, I gotta do this. See, I made some notes and I haven't got through it. I want to see, because one of the craziest things I know, and I'm gonna say this, stop letting people introduce you. Because when they introduce you, they take away from everything that you bring to the table. You can bring yourself to the table. You don't need nobody to introduce you. If they don't know who you are before you get in that room, if they don't know who you are, you shouldn't be there. You don't have to build up a person to come into a room. If I didn't advertise, I did everything I was supposed to, and I know I call it a town hall meeting where people can ask questions. Only thing I want to do is get to the stage and let people ask questions and answer questions because I need their vote. All that other cakewalk stuff and whatever they call it, building up to have you look like you. I'm trying to stop from saying it, but I'm gonna have to say it to make my point. Making you look like you the great white hope running down that stage and getting up there on that stage, and then you get up there and you don't want to answer no questions. Yeah, Kandice Webber was right. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm still flipping through my notes, so I want to make sure. And I told you about the Chuck Rocher moment because I never seen another candidate. I never seen a boaster, whatever y'all want to call him, or a person that's been on national media do that the next day after the election. Basically, what he did was stomp, walked around with his chest poked out at the expense. And I always say, when I speak of Jasmine Crockett, I try to add this behind it. At what cost? It's Black people. Do we allow a sister to have somebody stomp on her defeat? Well, she's a better person than I am, because I would be saying the things that I'm saying right now on social media, but she hasn't did that. She's a better person than I am. I give her that. You see, what your people need to understand is that she's a better person than any of them are, because if you're still attacking Kandice Webber and you're still attacking Jasmine Crockett and the election is over with, she's a better person. She's a better person and continuing to do her job at the same time in D.C. She's a better person. So don't ever say take her name out of your mouth, because she represents us. And you don't have a right to do that in that environment. Now, if you go to your environment and you say take her name out of your mouth, I can understand it, because they're attacking Jasmine Crockett. They're attacking Kandice Webber. And you playing like you don't know what's going on. Because just like you got the information before you went on Roland Martin about what he has asked for, or you go anywhere else and you getting people to say that you putting $25 million into Black media, how many checks have you wrote? See, because you're gonna want that same. And when I say Black media, I want to break it down, because you're gonna need people to knock doors. You're gonna need people to run campaigns as you get close. You're gonna need people to do all this stuff behind the scenes. But how many checks are you gonna write for the Black folk? And see, why people are out there crucifying people like Kandice Webber and me for calling out facts, they're not leaving any money with you. So when the next candidate, Black candidate, comes along, maybe those media sources have enough money to pay their bills and allow for a person to come on the air. But see, if you never hold a campaign or people accountable for them, you never achieve anything. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything before I get off, because there was so many things that I wrote down. Never dismiss anybody like Kandice Webber. Never. And for you guys, I'm going to say this. I want to put this down, because I'm going to say this. I want to lean in when I say this. Black men, when the sister stands up, you should stand beside her. I see a lot of y'all coming in Kandice's comments saying what she shouldn't do, what she should have did, calling her everything else. The person I was telling you about, calling her a Zionist. But he don't know what she put in, because he's not here. Don't do that. Because every chance that she gets, she supports you and what we stand for as a people. What she did was challenge the system. And if you're a weak man and you can't handle it, don't attack her. Attack yourself. Call yourself what you are, a weak man. And for anybody that was skinning and grinning in that first row that felt like Kandice didn't have a right, because I haven't heard any of y'all come out to support what she said or the way she did it. None of y'all came out. None of y'all haven't got on her page when these people are crucifying, making death threats and everything else. None of y'all come out and say, oh, you kingmakers in Houston, you run candidates all over, but you don't come out and support one of your own. She doesn't live out of state. She lives right here in Texas. She works right here in Texas. But none of y'all have came out in support of her. But everybody that she has worked with in the past that knows her has come out to support her. They won't let you call her a sister that a mad sister that's up there without a question, because you guys got voted in by the same people that you're not coming out to support, because Kandice Webber probably voted for one of you guys, but you ain't gonna come out and support one. That's the reason why I say skinning and grinning. You sit in that front row and you skin and grin. All you people that's taking pictures after the thing was over with, skinning and grinning with them, you're complicit. You got the whole people that you want to represent you in office. See, he represented you that day, but you want to hold him accountable when he wins your vote and he goes to Washington, D.C. You want him to have that same type of, when he's talking about black people, then let me tell you what happens. See, so he gets to D.C. He gets your vote and he wins. But when he doesn't do what you want him to do and he doesn't answer those questions, the same people that's skinning and grinning, same people that's threatening Jasmine Crockett, same people that's attacking Kandice Webber, now you want to get mad and complain. This is where you should be complaining at. Because if you lift a person and put them into the office, it's too late. It's too late. Most of all, I'm gonna say this and then I'm out. Ken Paxton ain't gonna be fair. He ain't gonna be one of those people that's an easy pushover. So I need your people to know that when I put stuff out there right now, I'm challenging your candidate right now. So when the Republicans come after him, and they will, when they come after him, most of the stuff will already be put out. What they gonna come back and say? And this is just the stuff that I know. Just the stuff that I know. I can research and back up with facts. So when you get out there and you think that you got an angry black woman, you think that I'm just posting stuff and I'm just trying to get clickbait, I don't care. See, most of my equipment that I got is paid for. Most equipment that other people have is paid for. People like Karen Hunter, Roland Martin, their equipment is paid for too. So when people challenge people running for office, this is the time to do it. Not afterward. Not afterward, because then it's called complaining. So don't sit there and act like you don't know what we're talking about. Don't sit there and go in people's comments because they made a statement because that's how they feel. Don't attack people who's doing what you should have done. I'm looking up to check my comments. Who's doing your job for you. Because if you don't get him in line right now, you could be embarrassed. Ken Paxton, out of all the stuff that he got, I didn't hear him talk and defend his position. And he does that well. So if your candidate ain't on par, you ain't gonna be able to stage during the debate. Not gonna be able to do it. Yeah, you can't protect him. Because once that camera starts rolling, it's on him. So let him get that practice of being asked hard questions. Don't send him out to set up our people. Don't send him out to disarm our people because you did your research on what they asked for. Saying 25 million. Where have you wrote a check for 25 million or part thereof? Show me the check. Scratch out the account numbers and everything else. Show me where you left a check at in black media. All right, I'm done. I hope you enjoyed it. I think my clip's going to do better than probably the long form. But any of my media shows, tomorrow night we're going to be on with Byron Glass, Pastor A.F. Riggins, and we're going to be in it. Because they bring their own cup of tea to the tea party. I just use that description, but they bring their own cup with them. When they sit down at the table, they got their own individual things that they bring in. So I want to say, join us tomorrow at 7:30. And on Wednesday at 1 o'clock the same time, I'll be back on. I think the topic is going to be relevant. If you go out to my Facebook page, I got a banner up there posted of all 3 days. Go to my Facebook page. You can go to Round Spikes. You can go to Blog Talk Radio USA. You can even go to Two Gents or just sit in your space. And you'll see. I'm trying. Kandice Webber is trying. Kamala Harris is trying. Every black woman out there is trying to get you to get on board and understand. They look like you. We're out of here. I want to say thank God for giving me this format. Thank God, because I'm gonna continue doing this as much as God gives me the ability to do it. I'm gonna continue doing this. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it was relative to what you're trying to do and relative and to the James Talarico count. Take some of the things I talked about doing this video, because you're getting advice from people that you already got their vote. They don't care if you pass or fail. So if you take the advice, let me tell you what I will do. If you take the advice that I've given you, you don't have to give me credit for it. But if you take the advice that I've given you, I might be persuaded to vote for Talarico. Some of y'all go back and look at my prior statements before then, and you understand. I'm out of here. Y'all take care. Y'all be good. Do whatever you're doing in your day this Monday. And as soon as I get off the air, I'm going back to my people. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.